Hey, what's up, everybody? Monkey Puzzle here, and I've got another little building showcase for you. Today, it's on the Atlas Blackwood map by ISO, who also made Crystal Isles in Arc. And I made a little pagoda style structure this time to be our main warehouse base for our shipyard here with my company, the Wind Wolves, with Bison and a Raleigh. So I just wanted to give you a quick tour of what I did. It's something a little different than my usual style. I'm usually building in hexagons and dodecagons and stuff, and here it's actually with squares, but the pagoda style really kind of livens it up and adds a lot of interest. And so I'm pretty happy with it. Before I get into the details real quick, let me just show you the inspiration for it, which is just over this way. I'll take a quick little walk. I'll teleport you over here, but it's just right over this little pass. See it opening up here. We've got some rice paddies, and you can see the beginning of the structures. Now, if I just get to the top of this bridge here, there you can see this amazing freeport town that's built here. You don't see this town when you first make your character. You can't spawn into it immediately, but it is there to be found. So let me show you on the map where it is. We're here in the upper right, the northeast corner of the map, and I'm just so enchanted. Oh, hi, horsey. I'm just so enchanted by this town, and I wanted to let it inform our base building as much as I could within the limits of the Atlas building system. Obviously, we don't have all these parts, but I wanted to get as close to it as I could, so that's the challenge I set for myself. So on the way back out of here, let me just show you one example building that kind of defines some of the style elements that we have to work with. So there are stacked levels. Each one of them have an overhanging roof all the way around. Those levels can be the same footprint or they can recede a little bit. The whole building structure never gets that large. Instead, it's broken down into component buildings that then make up the larger structure. And some of them have really nice features, like inside here is a little pond that is incorporated into the whole thing. So let me run back to our base and let me show you what I did with that. Yeah, so just out of render of the town as we leave it, we come across this pagoda base. So Bison went ahead, made a little fence here as a pen, keep all the cobras out. We tried to repeat some of the design elements in it as well. And then again, here is the main structure. So with those design elements, this is what I was able to come up with the Atlas building pieces. There was a couple other parameters along with this one. As usual, I wanted the building to be as close to the ships as possible for offloading materials or onloading materials. And I wanted the building also to immediately serve the shipyards so that we could build ships as easily as possible and just churn them out. This shipyard right here is actually not attached to land at all. And that was a real design challenge. I spent about 4 hours on stream figuring out how to attach a shipyard to building pieces. So figured it out. I think it mainly had to do with these ceilings here in the center of it with these pillars, and having that support in the center of the shipyards was what I think made it work. So I'm going to do a little showcase on that at some point too, once I can replicate it out at sea away from land. And let's take a quick tour now of the structure proper. We also had some help from Eco and her wonderful decoration mods for Atlas. We had her RP decor and also the foliage, Atlas foliage. So I was able to put this Japanese pine in here and have these nice little garden around it. And then some of the features on here too are from her, like just the decorative things like these shields and the lights there, and some of the other things you'll see that obviously aren't in Atlas. So the building, as you go in, opens to a big main area, and this can accommodate all our large utility beasts, our tames, the rhinos, the elephant, giraffes. Everybody can fit in here. It's a little three-way passage for direct offloading and onloading from the ship resource box and the smithy right here. So that makes all the grinding and the farming really convenient. The inside isn't quite as decorative as the outside because a lot of these walls, they've got a better side on the outside, but not on the inside. But I've done my best to kind of decorate it up with some features. And then all the utility stuff in here tends to fill it out as well. So yeah, we've got all our basic crafting stations, the forges, and the loom, and the tannery. Lots of storage, a la Eco again. She's got these barrels here that have 160 slots. So her mods are not essential for this build, but just used it to spice it up just a little bit. So in here further on, I've also incorporated that feature of having a pond inside and got some totem features there. There are not any good columns in Atlas. There's these really skinny pillars. So I use some of these totems, one of the models of it, to be the pillars in the corner. But again, that is not absolutely necessary. It's just a little flavor. I added just to add texture to the thing. You can see how those work here too on the outside corners. I think they work really well. And that's the main gist of the place. This is where it shuts off to the outside. Right here, you can lock yourself in, or you can have this just open. And then here is your direct access to the shipyards through here. So I kind of like that blending. That's also another feature of those design elements, is kind of a blurring of the inside and the outside. You got these transitional spaces that go from being completely inside to then partially outside, and then further on all the way out. So yeah, got that. Added some foliage in here to the pond. Obviously not a necessary feature, but for me it was pretty important because I just think it's beautiful. So let me just give you a quick tour of the rest of the building, and then I think that will be pretty much it. So here is the master bedroom here. Got Bison sleeping and Orali under the bed. Got some beds from Eco as well. And then here we've got two different units. I've got this one. I've been sort of decorating it as like a little personal bedroom for myself. I got a bathtub and a nice double bed and a few features. Can hang out and have a conversation with friends as we look out the window. And then there are a couple more levels as well. Let's go on up there, or actually one final level. So this one functions sort of as a lookout tower up here, and you can catch the view like that, or you can come out here and get on the very tippy top of the highest point here. I got little lanterns placed all around to try to light it up at night. And speaking of night, this is how it looks then. You can see I've done my best to place the lanterns all over the place, try to light the place up as best I can. The light of them is a little bit more yellow than I'd like. I used Eco's lights because they never burn out versus the oil lights that come in Arc. You have to refill those all the time. So I didn't want to hassle with that. You can see, especially here from the bottom, we get a really nice glowing effect, very warm. And the place is pretty well lit up. You would be able to function in here without having the gamma up at all and see pretty well, even record. So I think that's pretty much it. Let me get back to daytime. But I think that about covers it. Oh yeah, one other design thing is this one. I was trying to make this edge nice and straight so these ships could come straight in, not have to turn them at all, and they can kind of line up and get directly unloaded. We'll probably make a few more ramps as we get some more ships in order to unload them. Let's take just a little walk down here. You see we've got this interior area for all the tames, and we also incorporated a pool here as well, just to keep that pool theme going, and also just to give us a few fewer parts in order to build this thing. It turned out a little bit more massive than I had originally intended. There's definitely a high piece count here, but it doesn't feel that bad. It's not too framey. One thing that's missing on here is I wanted to paint it because you notice the one in town is really brightly colored. They use the reds for that one. And over here you can see I actually experimented to see how the colors would work on the different building parts here in Atlas. And the stone is not too bad and the thatch is not too bad, but you can see the color on the wood parts is terrible. The wood and the trim just look like it was really badly done, and the plaster looks terrible. It looks like you ran out of paint and had to skimp it. So it's sadly, I was going to go for a whole like dark blue and gold theme on here, but I just feel like it would ruin it. It looks a little raw and unpainted, but I think it's better than a bad paint job. So yeah, if I had used just thatch and stone, I think I could have pulled it off, but not with the wood parts. Oh yeah, and one other thing about this island is not only do we have the freeport that I showed you behind me, but over there is a boss arena. You can fight, I know, at least dragons and hydras, so we'll be doing some boss farming right over there as well. Anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this little tour, the showcase of a pagoda build, the style that I haven't attempted before. I like it a lot. I like the textures and the detailing of it. So if you're interested in how I built this, there are 2 very long streams prior to this on my channel, and you can watch the full process where I labored over the whole thing and tried to figure all this out. Yeah, so I hope you liked it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave those down below. This is Monkey Puzzle. Thank you for watching until the end of this showcase, and I will see you in the next one. Oh yeah, bye-bye.